Gena. Welcome to Beyond the Name. I'm so excited to have you here. You've come all the way from
Queensland, Gold Coast. Yeah.
No worries. Just flew in.
You know what? It worked out so well, actually. It was like perfectly timed when you asked me to do it. I was like, that is perfect.
Wait, I'm pretty sure I booked this around you.
Did you?
Yeah, I think I did because I messaged you last time.
Yeah.
And you were busy, and I think you reached out and was like, hey, I'm back in Melbourne. I was like, I'm making this happen.
Well, we were going to do it online, but I'm like,
That's right,
so much better in person. Like, I'm like, you're here.
And then you're like, wait, where are you located? And then it was a really long drive. So thank you for making the drive.
So welcome.
You did say it was only an hour. Today we're diving into you, the woman behind Boss Brows, a iconic brand, a very well-known name in your industry. So I would love to jump straight in. Welcome to Beyond the Name with me, Kasey Lee. This is a podcast for business owners presented by a multi-business owner. This podcast is all about having real conversations with business owners and people in power, answering questions and offering advice you never knew you needed. Beyond the Name connects you to the people behind the brand you see every day, the decisions you didn't know you needed to make. If you are sick of second-guessing your growth and are ready to understand how experienced business owners actually think, then this is the podcast for you. So anybody that has never heard of you and who you are, can you please tell us?
Absolutely. So from ground up, let's just get into the story. All right. Firstly, obviously, I'm Gena. Spelt like Gena, but it is definitely Gena. So basically, I started Boss Brows when I was pretty much straight out of school. So when I was in school, I thought I kind of always knew what I wanted to do. I actually wanted to do facial prosthetics, which is a bit random. But when someone lost like an eye or lost a nose, I wanted to like create an artificial facial feature for them. Which now looking back at
That's
it, I think,
unique.
yeah, I think I just wanted to do beauty, essentially.
Mm.
I think when I was at school, it was kind of just like seen as a bit of the dumb girl thing to do. I'm sure as you're in the industry, you would get that. You can't make it through school, so you do beauty.
Yeah.
And then, when I finished a little bit earlier and I got straight into, at the time it was a lash course. Lash extensions were like the boom, everyone wanted them. So I got straight into a lash course and then worked from home and literally worked in like a bungalow out of my family home. So I had my bed where I would sleep and then my lash bed, right there. Extremely.
Isn't it so funny now? You think, I don't know, working.
I look back and I'm like, that was not ideal, was it?
Still was booked out with people in your bedroom.
That's it. And then I guess the way Boss Brows was really born was I trained in cosmetic tattoo after that because the ombre was like really coming in at the time. It was like an emerging kind of service. So did my training in ombre and then, I mean, there was a massive way that how I got to where I was. Are we going into all that now or are we trickling into that
Well,
later?
my next question is like, tell us about your iconic story. So I've never actually met you. I just sort of reached out to you recently, but a lot of people that are in my world, I do business coaching, have been to a lot of your events when you've guest spoke and I've learned a lot about you through them. So not even through your social media, like it doesn't land on my page all the time. A lot of my content, that sort of algorithm pushes is hair. So I've learned a lot about you through other people in the beauty industry. Just not obviously, they just love you and everything you've built and your personality and your story. So that's how I've learned about you, who you are, your story, through other people going to events where you've guest spoken. And the story that I've heard is really powerful. So I would love for you to share that and even something maybe that you've never shared, in your public speaking with everybody today.
Well, my story was an interesting one. And, it was like looking back, I guess it was a slow burn, but it's something that happened quite quick. I've only been in the industry for coming on 7 years now. So when you look at like everything that I've done in between, it's like, it is quite a short amount of time, I guess. So basically after I did the course, I opened my very first salon. And
in Melbourne,
and 3 weeks later we went into lockdown. So that was the first big, like, I guess, hurdle that I had inside my business. And then second lockdown came around, they announced it, and I was like, I actually can't afford to be able to keep this salon and not be working in here because I hadn't been open for a year, so I couldn't get any government benefits.
Did you have staff?
No, not at this
Yeah,
time, because
okay.
it was literally just
But
me.
you had rent to pay and
Had rent to pay, yeah.
life to
Life to do.
Yeah.
That's it. And so I moved to Canberra. And at this point, Melbourne was at a complete standstill. I moved to Canberra thinking, okay, lockdown is 4 weeks. I'm going to have 2 weeks there to work. I'm just going to do quarantine for 2 weeks and work for 2 weeks, and that will be enough to like get me through for the month. And then obviously Melbourne ended up being in lockdown for
2
6 months.
2
Felt like 2
years.
years.
Was almost on and off in the end.
But it was 6 months
Yeah,
until
yeah.
we could open back up again. So in that time, I guess that was my first real growth. Like I've had these like kind of stints of like big growth throughout my business, and that was the first big one because Ombre was such a new service, and I was out there able to work while everyone else was kind of like stuck at a standstill. And I did so many models, so many clients, and so much work during that time. And then when I came
In
back
Canberra?
in Canberra, yeah, and then when I came back to Melbourne, I was already like an experienced. I had 6 months of like tattooing every single day. You know what I mean? And then I guess that was like the real start of my business in terms of services. So then I came back and I was fully booked for months after that. And then obviously after that we had staff come along, and then we expanded a little bit into training, and then the social media, the boom of my social media as well. I dedicated like an entire year to literally just building my social
Do
media.
you want to tell everybody how many followers you've got on your platform currently?
Oh,
I know it's large.
It is large. I'll preface this after. But,
Okay.
I think my Instagram is like a little over 200k, and my TikTok's a little over 400. But
Oh, I haven't
Followers-
landed on TikTok.
followers aren't everything, I will say.
I do agree.
That
We've just had a
is-
whole podcast previously
About
to-
that, yeah. That is something I learnt, I guess, not the hard way, but you know, in my eyes, when I looked at people that were super successful in the industry, I tied the number of followers so heavily to that, and I would jump on their page like, oh my god, like I just wanted to be like someone that was seen as an industry leader, and you know, I was just a little account who was, and I was like, I felt like I couldn't possibly be an industry leader without like the figure of the followers in there. And it's so funny because after you attain that, you realize that it's so not the case, is it?
But also as well, because you still are.
Yeah, it's
A
that's your
leader.
perception of me.
That's a lot of girls'
That's your
perception
perception of me.
what I have, been
Yeah.
told. But I always say followers don't equal money
Not at all. Not at
or
all.
success. So
You'd be surprised. You probably get more story views than me. to be honest.
I
Yeah.
agree with that. Well,
But no, you're right. I think in a way, it has helped me to grow my business and
Yeah.
position myself in that way. And essentially, that's what I wanted. So I literally, I dedicated a full year into completely like analyzing content that people watch, recreating things that people watch, and then once I sort of landed on that
yeah.
little jackpot, then I was just rinse and repeat creating content, and then
Exactly what we just discussed.
and then
Before. I
that
say all
was-
the time, people say, how do you grow your social media? And I say consistency.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh yeah, but like that's it.
That's
That-
literally
that's-
it.
that's
People
it.
people literally want to know what they're gonna
Yeah.
see when they
Yeah.
come on your page. That's why
Yeah.
people watch your stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. So and then that was in 2023. I dedicated.
So what did
that
you grow to in 2023?
pretty much probably around about like kind of what I'm at now. I reckon since 2023, I
So
probably
still quite large.
yeah within like a full year I
Yeah.
did about, I think I was maybe at like 190k. So we've
Yeah,
grown like an extra like 40k
Yeah.
over TikTok and
Yeah.
Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, that's
In the
cool.
time being, but that was basically that full year. And then you've seen I recently moved to Gold Coast as
Yep.
well.
Yeah.
In between that, launched my training academy, which
Yeah.
has been incredible. So thank you
Congratulations.
so much. Yeah, I love, that's like a massive passion of mine. And I
So
guess
were you training before you moved?
Yep.
Just small amounts.
Yeah, I was still doing training,
Yeah.
like group training, and my training has changed so much like along the years as well. Like I feel like now it's my academy is at like such a good point that I'm genuinely like so proud of the training that I'm giving to people
Producing.
now. Yeah, so it is good, but obviously you learn along the way, right? With
Of
with
course.
training people, and you
Yeah.
learn how beginners learn best, and
Lots of data collection
Yeah.
and, tweaking bits and pieces as you go to make it.
yeah, that's it. So that's
Make it
what that's the main focus right now. I
Yeah.
guess that's what we're doing at the moment.
So
And
that's
then,
all online.
no, in person as well.
All in
Yeah,
person,
I do
yeah.
like online and in person. We have a bunch of online stuff like
Yeah.
coming in the works, more just better everything online. But yeah, a lot of in person stuff as well. And then we have the Gold Coast salon too now.
I know,
so,
which is amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
Can you
where
tell
we're
us what you do? Like, do you offer more than one service in your salons and educating, or is it just cosmetic tattooing?
at. So we do all brow stuff.
Yeah, I
So
thought so,
cosmetic tattooing, we do like
Just wanted to confirm.
lammy, sculpt dye, all
Yeah.
all non-permanent stuff.
Yeah, and
And then-
educating that space.
Yeah, both. So
Yeah, cool.
cosmetic tattooing and then all non-permanent services
Yeah,
as well.
perfect.
And then we also do lash lifts in the salon, but I refer all my students over to Vanessa Ruling.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the
amazing.
lash
Love
lifts.
Ness. She was actually on our
Icon.
last series of
Yeah,
podcasts.
I know. She's beautiful.
She's
She?
so
Oh, I'm
talented
obsessed with
too.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
so
Amazing.
that's where we're at now.
And I feel like more than ever, people are really investing in, even if it's not cosmetic tattooing, just their eyebrows and lash lifts and everything themselves. So I think it's a really good space. As you said, a lot of people are moving away from lash extensions. I still haven't been able to make that
You'll get there, babe.
shift. I don't know.
You gotta try one. You just gotta try one.
Only because I'm like in front of the camera in the salon all the time. I'm
Yeah.
so fit. Like eyebrows. My eyebrow stain only lasts me a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know when I've had a couple of girls come on the couch, I'm like, are you still getting hard?
I used to be a diehard lash extension girly as well. I was like, mega volume, give me as big and long as you can. Yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
You just gotta...
You also got dark features. I'm quite fair naturally.
You suit them though. Yeah, it's so good on you. I can't imagine you.
But yes, my 15-year-old daughter, who's actually upstairs pulling a sickie from cross country today, she's desperate for a
lash lift.
And I'm so hesitant. I'm like, and I've said I'll have to try and get her in with
get her in.
Vanessa.
She's local.
She's literally down the road. So yeah.
Good.
Okay, so think back to the early days of Boss Brows. Who were you before your brand come like iconic?
You know, I've always like throughout my entire career, I've always just felt like I'm just a girl. Like I feel like there's nothing special about anyone who like quote unquote makes it in this industry. That's in my opinion. I'm kind of like anyone can do it. It's just about how hard you want to work and who you want to be seen as and the positioning that you put behind your social media, because that is literally all social media is these days. It's a lot about perception. It's a lot about, I guess, who you tell people that you are.
Yeah.
And you really have to step into that and
curate however you want to be seen.
Yeah, that's it. And like I think when I was first starting out, I just was not a confident person. Like like when I was younger, I struggled with confidence. I had a stutter growing up actually. There's a little thing that a lot of people wouldn't know that I grew up with such bad stutter I couldn't even say my own name. Like really, really bad. Like could not string a sentence together at all. So I think, I mean, now I can't shut the fuck up, can I? But I think over the years of just like not being able to speak, you build that sort of that relationship with confidence and just being like petrified to, you know, do anything outside of your comfort zone, I think.
Yeah.
And so I guess when I was younger, I kind of, after I got over that massive hurdle, which it, like, in all honesty, even looking back, that's still probably the hardest thing I've had to overcome. Like if anyone's ever experienced that, you would know it's horrible. But
I always say to people as well, without being uncomfortable, there's no growth, right? If we're playing in our
100%.
comfort zone, how are you supposed to grow?
Yeah. So then after I guess I overcame that, I was just like, the sky's my limit. Like where do you stop after that? You know what I mean?
And now look at you.
Yeah, thank you. It was
flying interstate to be on podcasts, guest speaking. You know, who would have thought the girl that you were then that struggled to show off, be confident and to speak is now, you know, I would say one of the leaders in the beauty industry for guest speaking.
Thank you. I love guest speaking. And obviously guest speaking for me is like, it hits a little different. It's not just coming on and like guest speaking. It's like almost showing like little Gena, like that she kind of like, you know, that was possible for me at the time. I never would have thought it would have been. So,
and then if it's possible for you, as you said, like it's possible for anyone,
for absolutely anyone.
Yeah.
Like
obviously you're special, but no one's special. They've just got to have the drive, the consistency, and that ambition just to want it enough to turn up. And
I think having
people
had
that.
Yeah, having people in your corner as well that you
huge.
And like seeking help. I think too. I think that's a massive thing. Like so many people in our industry like don't seek help. Like it is like I have had business coaches, like you said as well, like throughout the years, and it's like they have helped me grow my business so much. Like
people underestimate the power of a business coach. Every single successful person that's sat on this couch have all had a business coach.
Yeah, really?
It's the one pattern that keeps coming up. So if you're listening to this, like listen to everyone's interviews. It's the same thing we're hearing and the same pattern. Okay, I want to be successful like these people that I view as successful. All of them have said wouldn't have been able to get here as quick as I did or at all without having someone in my corner like a business coach. And I think that's pretty I think it's very underestimated.
I think it's one of those things as well. It's almost like, for me, having a business coach isn't about actually what you learn with the business coach, although I do learn so much. It's more about, I actually tie so much value to the dollar amount. And for me, it's like when I'm paying a business coach, you know, whatever it may be, 10 grand for the container, something happens energetically, which I think it is something that's not spoken about. It's like something happens energetically that your sense of deservingness is like so much higher because you've invested in yourself that amount of money, which is so much, and you know, you backed yourself, and that's like essentially it's a way of telling yourself like you
have to make this work.
You have to make this work. You're gonna succeed, and you believe in yourself that you're actually gonna succeed. And in my opinion, that's like the first step. That I think that's something I've always done quite well in my career. Like I've always been either consistently training, like you know, further educating myself, or investing in coaching or something like that. I've had a coach like pretty much all the time.
I feel like a similar pattern as well is people saying they have invested when they actually haven't had that overflow of money as well. Like they've bet on themselves. Okay, like, oh, can I part with that 10 grand right now? Maybe not, but I know that I'm going to get something really rewarding from this, or it's going to keep me accountable, and investing when it feels really uncomfortable and just being like, I know that this is going to work, and, you know, putting yourself out there, whether that's with, a coach or whether that's just with new techniques. Like I know myself through my career that I've been like, oh, like, is this sort of like in my budget right now? I'm like, fuck it. I know that I'm going to get really good results if I invest in this thing. And yeah, that's something that's really common. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? I think that that's what makes a really special artist an artist, because, you know, you have, if you've taken all these different courses and trainings, you might not learn an entire new skill set when you train with someone new, but you're going to learn, you know, 2 or 3 fundamental things that go into your style that you do. Then you train with someone else, you bring it, and it's like you have a collection of all these really key pieces that, you know, change the way you work as an artist. And then you have your entire own technique that then if you want to go off and you want to train at a later point as well, that's like, that helps you so much in the long run, because you have like a bit of everyone who, you know, and that creates your own technique.
I often say that in my hairdressing education, you may see things in here that you've seen a million times, but there might be one key thing that you learn and you take and implement it in your own business, and it can change the whole way you've been working, and the whole game. And, you know, I will never go at the start of a workshop and be like, oh, like I'm the best and this and this and this, because it is a saturated market right now, and there is a lot of free education. So I always am very honest and say, if you can literally just take one thing from today, whether it's hair techniques, business advice, you know, a color formulation, and implement social media, implement that right into your business, and that tweaks your business and changes something for the good, then it's been worth the investment.
I want to ask you a question, because you just said it's a saturated industry. I had this conversation with someone the other day. Do you feel like it's saturated?
In the hair industry, yes. I feel like there's a lot of educators compared to when there was 10 years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think you've just got to, like, it's a lot harder to sell workshops than it used to. That's the feedback I'm getting for a lot of people. But I think that also comes down to just how people are buying right now. I feel like it comes down to a lot of people are a little bit scared. People are doing a lot of last minute buying. And that's been really interesting, listening to feedback from other people, but also my own feedback is, you know, that's just what's happening. Saturated, I think a lot of time people use that as an excuse as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you just got to be like, okay, like, what added value can I give that the person next to me isn't giving, and make it more your own. But yeah, I think there's a lot of people that are educating or want to educate? Yes, in the beauty industry.
More massive. Yeah. I was having the conversation more from a point of an artist perspective, like newcomer into the industry, so you've never been in there. They've asked me, is it saturated? And I'm like, it's saturated. It's saturated at a level of beginners, in my opinion, though. Like I'm talking, let's take training out of it, like, and you're just an artist wanting to get bookings.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was like telling this person that it's saturated when you're stuck at the beginner level, because it's so many people are stuck there. Once you actually like kind of venture out of that and you position yourself better, I'm like, it's actually not at all. You know what I mean? It's really not that saturated. Like, it's not, there's enough clients to go around for everyone, but I just found like that is where it's saturated at the beginner.
Yeah, no, I don't have any preference for that for being a hairdresser,
Yeah.
but being an educator, yes.
Being an educator. yeah, for sure.
Hairdressing, no, because I feel like it was only hairdressing for such a long time, and it has really shifted into beauty. So when we get work experience girls come in, they're like, oh, like I either want to do like hair and a lot of the time now it's lashes. So
Okay.
it's still lashes. A lot of like the high school girls aren't necessarily going into like brows and stuff like that. Few cosmetic nurses, but I feel like they start lashes and then fall into more personalized services like brows, lash lips, all of those things. But I do like the feedback I'm getting, and I've got teenage daughters, is yeah, like a lot more people are even shifting more into beauty. If I don't feel like when I was younger, very long time ago, 20 years ago, it wasn't really
Yeah.
beauty. It was always hair. Like
Because I don't think people were doing specialized services back then. It was kind of like if you did brows, you also did lashes and nails and
Yeah.
blah, 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 you know what I
it
mean?
was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is obviously a lot of more artists in lashes and brows and all of these things, but I do agree, like there's enough room for everybody. There's enough people out there. So I feel like if you're good at what you do and you invest and you promote yourself or have the customer service, you're naturally going to thrive. I do think, and I don't know if this is rude saying it on the podcast, I do think people fall into wanting to be educators quite quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. See that, yeah.
They go and do a course, or they can use ChatGPT and they download it and think, I'm just going to open up a education, which I see a lot. Which is also okay because they've got the ambition, but then wondering why their classes aren't selling out and stuff like that without building that authority first. So knowing the difference between the social media that talks to the client, the social media that talks to the person who wants to buy from you, that will purchase your courses and stuff, because obviously they're different clients. So leaning into education before building the authority, I'm seeing quite a lot. Everyone wanting to throw events. Like I always say in the hairdressing industry, the beauty are kicking our ass. They have event after event after event.
We do.
Yeah, there's no community really in Melbourne for hairdressers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But no, I totally agree with you. I think people overlook that. Before I started educating, I was giving like free education advice on my platform for like 6 months, probably more, prior to actually launching my first ever training event. And that's because I wanted to be seen as someone who does training. You can't just launch something to a cold audience like of clients that follow you and then be like, oh, by the way, I do training.
No one bought.
Like no one's gonna rock up. But it's like you need to spend so much time like changing like the positioning of yourself over, across your socials and just the person that you are before you actually go into educate. Yeah, I agree with you.
And you do free guest speaking most of the time, right?
Depends. Like it
Sorry to put
no,
that out
no,
there.
that's all right. Like not really, to be honest with you. I like nowadays, like I will charge for my like guest speaking.
But I'll take that back. So you used to do free guest speaking.
The first couple of ones that I did were free.
Which is really common. On most people I speak to actually give up their time for free.
Yeah.
So sorry if I got your information
No,
wrong, but I think a lot of people don't realize that at the start of growing, people are giving up their time, content models, and putting themselves in room and guest speaking and driving here on the podcast. You're not getting paid to be here. Like this is valuable time where you could be spending time working on your business, building social media content, your personal life. To build the authority and build your brand, you give so much at the beginning, so much free time or free services or so much of yourself, I'm trying to say, for nothing in instant return because, that's the right word that I'm trying to say. Well, because you're putting yourself out there, you're wanting to be seen and heard, and a lot of the time that can come at cost of nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't think people realize. They just see, oh, this person's on this and this, they must be making bank. No, a lot of the time I'm doing that out of my own time 100%. And out of my own heart to put myself out there as an authority or put myself out there as a leader and to be seen as this, successful person that you are. But yeah, I think a lot of the time that's really misunderstood.
I spent years doing free model. I still do free models to this day. I've had 7 years in the industry and I'll do a free model tomorrow if you give me one for content, whatever. Like whatever it's for, even if it's for me to expand my skill set. I want to
Yeah.
try something new, try a product. My ego will never be too big to have someone in for free.
Yeah.
I literally, before I opened my Gold Coast salon, I did a week free.
Yeah.
1 week of completely free work. Come in and I'll do your brows in exchange for something. It was either post me on your TikTok, make me a Instagram story, create me some anything.
Yeah.
1 full week I did for free. I don't know many other artists that would do that. People are very transactional.
Especially at
these days, and
especially at your scale, your level.
Yeah, well, like,
People would assume that you wouldn't do that anymore.
But it pays off. I'm like,
absolutely.
And it's like you have people that are like dying to get clients and dying to get this. I'm like, why don't you just take some time, do a free model? But it's like, oh, I don't want to not charge. And I'm like, well,
but
no,
you're also creating proof of your work and also showing what your dream client looks like. Yeah, I'm a big fan for that as well.
Yeah,
and that's something that I've spoken about on my podcast as well. So with guest speaking at events, what is it about your journey that resonates so deeply with business owners and that people constantly asking you back to keep speaking at these events?
That's a good question. I think I speak well at events. Like, I don't think it's anything got to do like necessarily about my story. However, I did definitely start from like humble beginnings. Like, I think it's powerful when you can meet someone in person that's like started exactly where like you are, and then you can see like the journey. And I always give tangible steps as well about how to actually and even inside my courses and stuff, how to actually go from being a beginner to then being like someone who's seen as like an industry leader and everything like that. But guest speaking is like more about the way you deliver it, I would say. I think I've been to a lot of events and like Tony Robbins and stuff like that. Like, I've been to Tony Robbins events, I've been to a lot of guest speaking events, so I pick up little things. Again, like I said, like, you take little things off everyone's thing. So I've kind of created a way that I sort of like to deliver my speeches and kind of connect with the audience in a better way, instead of just getting up and saying, this is who I am and this is what I've did and XYZ. Like, I like to kind
have the framework behind it.
Yeah, have the framework behind it and just really connect with like everyone in the audience. That's what I aim for, essentially. And like, when I guest speak, I'm not selling anything to anyone. I'm literally just there and I'm just sharing my story. And if I can just inspire one person, like, that is my job done. And like, for me, nothing hits harder than after I guest speak and people message and they're like, your story has inspired me so much that now I'm going out and I'm going to go try this that you gave me, or I'm going to go do this that you told me to do. Like, that is why I guest speak.
Yeah. I love that you just said you have tangible learnings and stuff in your guest speaking. So people are taking away things from that. It's just not like, here I am, this is me. It's like, okay, here's a couple of little things that you can take away and implement in your own journey. Yeah, I really loved that. Amazing. So how did stepping into guest speaking shape the way that you see your own leadership in the industry? For me, guest speaking, I mean, like I shared with you before about having a stutter when I was younger, it was kind of almost something that I wanted to prove to my younger self that I could do. And for me, it's like, guest speaking has been a more of a personal passion project as opposed to something I do for like work, you know what I mean? Which is why when I first started guest speaking, I was doing like a lot of it for free. God, the first time I guest spoke, I was petrified. Like, I literally was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this again. But now I guess the more you do it, the easier it gets. So I just about getting the reps in. But I think in terms of, if you want to be positioned as like an industry leader, like those little things really do help. But my first guest speaking gig, like, one thing I've done throughout my business is I've asked for opportunities quite a bit as well. Like, I wasn't ever someone who kind of just sat back and waited for things to like fall in my lap. Like, the first time I guest spoke, I asked to guest speak, and I wasn't like necessarily a massive artist, but she put me on, and that was, I guess, like the first one that I did, and then I consistently got bookings after that. Actually, let me go back onto something with that, because this is a kind of interesting story to tell you. When I decided that I wanted to start guest speaking, I actually I think I've heard this story. Have you heard this story? Yeah. I actually did a guest speaking, and I posted like little snippets on my Instagram of me guest speaking and stuff like that, because I wanted people to sort of start inviting me to guest speak. And it was actually a shoot. It was a complete mock-up. So like, there was absolutely no one in the audience, and it was just like something that I did because I was like, how am I going to position myself to be a guest speaker so that people ask me
to come on to guest speak. And I literally just kind of like did a whole planned thing. And then, yeah, when I posted it, like literally 3 months later, I got asked to guest speak, and it was in front of 300 people. 3,000, I would have died.
300 is still a lot.
300 people, yeah, at the Lash conference, like a massive Lash conference. So that was an incredible moment where I was like, wow, I actually felt like it was reaffirming to me, like I do know what I'm doing when it comes to
You manifested that shit, babe.
Yeah, manifested that. Yeah,
actually, yeah.
So that was pretty freaking iconic. Yeah,
I have heard that story, and
I shared that one time guest speaking, and it was like jaws on the floor. Like everyone was like, "What? That wasn't real." I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I think that people underestimate these things. Yeah. When I heard that story, I was like, well, it's obviously fucking genius.
And it's not about being fake. It's more just like, it's more just like, how are you going to market something when you've never, it's like, you know, being an educator even. It's like, how are you going to show people what's entailed in your education if you don't have any content when you first start, right? So it's either like you're going to get someone and you're going to do it for free, or otherwise you can do like you know, people these days do like a shoot or do like a mock-up training or do something like that where it's like they have the content behind it to actually share.
Take it till you make it as well. Like you're putting it out there. It's with lots of things. I actually love that story so much. When I heard it, I was like, love it.
It feels imposter syndrome at the start, but once you start getting, you know, now I'm a guest speaker. Obviously back then when I was doing a fake shoot, I was like, this is so fucking embarrassing.
But no, I think it's iconic.
It is iconic.
I think it's so iconic. I love it. Okay, so in my coaching work, I see that identity of the CEO has changed before the business catches up. When did you realize that you couldn't run Boss Brows the same way you did in the very beginning? What part was it like, okay, I have to change. I have to pivot.
Change in what way do you mean?
So normally when we start our businesses, we're like running in a certain way. And at one point we're like, okay, like I've outgrown that way of being, and I now need to pivot into this new version of myself so I can take this to the next level.
As like an educator, or just like in general?
Yeah, in general.
I've trialed like so many different things in my business. I feel like people wouldn't know, like I'm a big pivoter. Like I love to try different things, pivot. Like, I mean, even me moving to Canberra was like a massive pivot. You know, I moved states. Like I literally moved states to run my business, and like obviously it paid off. But there's been things along the way that I've, you know, done and dabbled in and tried that, you know, have failed as well.
People only see these successes, don't they?
I literally trained in freaking SMP. Do you know what that is? Like hair tattoo. I was gonna do hair tattoo, did that for a bit. I was like, oh, fucking hate men, I'm not gonna do that. No offense. Oh, we got a man in the room now. But no, I was just like, it wasn't the passion for me. So I was like, but there's definitely things I've like trialed along the way, but I feel like I've ventured off your question. Can we go back to that again? What is the
is there a moment in your business that you're like, oh, I can't turn up as the same Gena I was when I first started this business, I now need to expand? What I loved hearing there though was, and again hear this quite often from successful people, is the pattern that I'm seeing of successful people, and you know, people listening back, I'm not sure whether they've picked up on this, but the way that they can pivot is so powerful. Anybody successful, they try something. Does it work? Yes. Does it not work? Pivot. Try something else. Absolutely. And that's a really powerful way of being. And I think that's how people get successful, because they don't go, okay, this doesn't work, I'm just going to give up. They go, cool, this, you know, I've done something, I'm data collecting, didn't work, so I'm going to just like literally pivot and try something else. And they're not afraid to continually do that one thing. So they're not afraid to fail and then just try something else. I didn't realize other people operated at the frequency as if they like do something and they fail, they just give up. I didn't know people did that. What do you mean? Crazy. Is that something people do? Like, don't you just like try something else?
Legit. I feel like actually on that, I've always been someone who like wants a little bit more, to be honest with you. Like it's a bit of an illness, but I'm like, I love just doing more. And I'm like,
get
right? I'm like, in life, like you get one shot. Like who fucking cares if you look like a fool for 2 minutes to get to where you want to be? Like I'm just like, literally you have one life. Like why would you not try and like be the best artist you can be the best educator you can be? Like do something. Like if you have a dream of something that you've like wanted to do your entire career, try. Just try.
What's the worst that's gonna happen?
We're gonna fail. I failed it so many times. People just don't. People don't remember when you fail. They don't even know when you fail. Like You know, people come into your world at like all different times. People coming into my world now would not know any failures that I've had throughout my business, but I've had heaps. Like if I've had something on my
Normally,
heart,
the
and
more successful you are, the more failures you've had. 'Cause you've had to go
100%.
through those roadblocks to get you there.
But that's the thing. If you don't ever cross the line, or try something different that you've always wanted to do, you're never going to be able to, like, what a beautiful privilege it is to be able to fail and tell yourself that you've tried something that you've always wanted to try, and even if it didn't work out, but you still did it.
I didn't realize how many people are worried about failing. Failing? I can't even say it. Being a failure. When I studied NLP, one of the tools that people were trying to collect from me, which is a lot of Tony Robbins, was to, like, they didn't understand how I just, like, did things. And I was like, well, you just, like, choose that you want to do it and you do it. Right? Like, I didn't understand that people didn't do the same as me, but I guess that was because they were afraid to fail. I can't even speak properly. Fail. They were so worried about failing. I can't say it right now. I'm tongue-tied. Let's move on from that. That is definitely still going live though. We're not cutting that bit, just being myself. But yeah, like, I couldn't wrap my head around, like, what do you mean? They're like, well, how do you do things, Kasey? I was like, well, I just like be like, cool, I want to do it, and I do it, and I try it. And
that's it. And you know what? I think you learn so much when you fail. Now you've freaking ticked me off.
I'm so sorry.
But, like, even when something doesn't work out, like, you can
good reframe of sentence there.
Even when something doesn't work out, you can try a different way, and that is what has kind of all these, like, different things that I've, like, been really successful with. That's kind of how it's happened. Like I found a path, I've stepped foot onto that path, and then, like, if it hasn't worked out, you just veer off a little bit, and it's like it leads you somewhere else, and it's like you would never get there unless you actually just try.
Forward steps.
Like, I'm sure with you, right? Like, you do business coaching. Like, was there a reason that you started business coaching? Did you have a business coach that was really shit and you were like, wow, I could do that?
To be honest, people just kept asking me for all this business advice. And then there was a couple of people that turned up on my social media, and I was like, actually, I think I started doing a lot of personal development. And then it fell into like following people that did personal development, business coaching. And then a lot of people, like, I remember one girl was like, hey, can we go out for breakfast? I would like to run some business things by you. And I was like, hang on a minute. Like, I'm giving a lot of my time coaching people on things. And then, I invested a lot more into NLP, and I studied that, which was a lot of mindset work. And my first business coach was for my coaching business, and she was more of a mindset business coach. Which then sometimes called me out for my shit in the salon. So I've never really had a bad coach. Everyone has been different, and I've used them for different things. But I just one time noticed people were asking me questions, and I was like, like, why wouldn't I make this into
I think as well, when you're someone that, it feels good to give advice to. Like, I'm like that too. Like, I love, like, if I can help someone and it changes their business. I literally got a voice memo from someone before who just told me she took my course and then won an award. Like,
stop it.
Yeah, she won an award last week, and I was like, wow. Like, you have those moments where you're like, wow, I actually think that this is like, this is what I'm meant to be doing. That would have been, like, I guess for you then, like, you're helping people are taking on your advice, and you're like, wow, that's actually life-changing. Like,
and honestly, I love business coaching, but the amount of reward I get from people with the mindset coaching, because people don't realize how important that is being a business owner, is just been my biggest reward of everything.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So I focus a lot of energy into that. A lot of people assume growth comes from doing more, but you just said that it actually comes from pivoting, which is something that I talk about a lot. We've just briefed on that. What were some early decisions in your business that didn't feel significant at the time, but actually shaped your direction of Foss Brows long term?
Yeah, so I think with my industry, being brows, like, brows is changing so much. Like, brows has evolved. It evolves every single year, and it's like, it's something that I'm like, can we just stop evolving for a second? But I'm like, you have to evolve with it.
I'm from the generation where I plucked all my eyebrows really tiny and thin when I was 15.
You would never know.
And I had a huge forehead, and I had, like, really fair eyebrows. And I remember, like, I made my friend's hair yellow. She spent an hour plucking my eyebrows because, we were just like, I was a hairdresser. She worked at the local beauticians, and my mom picked me up and she's like, what the fuck happened to you? And I just had these, like, early 2000s. They're 90s.
It was
brows,
hot
so
back then,
aren't they?
babe. It
No,
was
I
hot.
don't think it was ever.
hot. It
There was no tinting then either. So I think I was just all forehead, no brows.
Yeah.
I'd never done anything before. And I laugh. I still really love a fluffy brow. My daughters keeps telling me, they're not in anymore, Mum. They're like more shaped and
Nah, you rock it. But like your daughter said, right? It's like
just
then it's like,
changes.
and what a fluffy, really, really fluffy lamination. Yours look good, by the way, but
Thank
a
you.
really fluffy lammy that was in like not long ago, 2023. A fluffy lammy
Yes,
came in,
yeah.
and then what? We're 3 years later. What? We're already out. Like it's like, oh my gosh, but. But for me, yeah, pivoting in services was a real paramount thing to the growth of my business. So like, obviously, Ombre came in. I started with that.
Being
Then
a bit ahead of your time too, noticing it and then implementing it straight away. Yeah.
I'm someone like that too. If I see a new service come up, like I'm onto it straight away.
Yeah.
And then obviously cosmetic tattooing was kind of like phasing out, or just like the really defined brow had like started phasing out a little
Caterpillars,
bit.
the big caterpillars.
That's it. Obviously we do it differently now as well. But you know, and then a fluffy brow came in, and I was like, fuck, I am a cosmetic tattooist. What's going on? Now we're all doing fluffy brows. So
I'm not gonna lie, I was like, why are we all tattooing these big thick eyebrows on? Imagine if the 90s eyebrows come back. So I was so nervous at the start to tattoo my brows. But I think, there's a lot more knowledge and stuff behind it then. But I was really worried at the start. Especially for the early days.
yeah.
You know how they all faded like green and red, when they first come in. I was like,
Come a long
imagine
way.
if we all just like tattooed our faces and really thin eyebrows come back in, because it changes so much.
Legit. And then like after, like when the fluffy brows came in, I had not even waxed a brow before, by the way. I was only a cosmetic tattooist.
Oh,
So that was a completely new service for me. We added in a whole, realm of services. And then obviously now cosmetic tattooing has come back in a different way. Like it's not what it used to be. But and so I think just like having different, like even Korean lash lips have come in like now doing with the salon, and I'm like, why would you not? Like I think people get so stuck on their one technique, their one thing, and they don't think that pivoting is going to be beneficial to their business, but it's
almost most important thing.
Otherwise you will get left behind.
How are you supposed to be top of the game if you're still doing things from 3 years ago?
And that's it. And this industry is brutal. Like seriously, if you're doing old techniques and you're doing like you're just gonna get left behind. It's brutal. Yeah.
I can completely say that across hair and beauty. Okay, one of the biggest shifts I see in business owners is moving from being the person doing all of their own work to the person delegating on how to get things done. Do you have a salon team or people that help you? And when did that shift start to happen for you to know that you had to ask for help?
That's a great question. So I will be the first person to put my hand up and say I'm a horrific delegator. Horrific. I'm very like, not that I'm a control freak at all. I'm actually like even if ask the girls at work, I'm super chill. Like really, really chill. Maybe too chill sometimes, but just never someone like I like things done kind of like in my own way, especially with my content and stuff. So I haven't really been someone who's like great with delegating. But it's something that's been one of my most recent lessons actually. So I have staff. I've had staff for quite a while now. So I have 3 girls in the Melbourne salon. And we just opened the Gold Coast one 6 months ago, but I have one girl, you just met her this morning, Elena. She is in the Gold Coast salon. So in terms of taking on the services and like helping me out with like, the actual clients, like I've always had people with that, but I recently just hired a I guess like she does a bit of everything, to be honest with you, like an admin assistant.
So it's like a VA or
like a PA. She's in person with me.
Yeah, cool.
Like a PA. She just kind of helps me out with everything on the business
An
front.
operations manager.
Yeah,
I call them business operations manager.
And
bit of here, bit of there.
It's been the best thing ever. Honestly, like yes, and it's an expense to the business, but it has allowed me to, be able to step back from things that are just a bit mundane for me to be doing, or, like unnecessary to take up my time. And like I can spend time with for me, what I love doing is my student support. Like I'm always in my WhatsApp on my student portal, like helping out people. And that's the way I like to kind of give back to the people that, invest in themselves and invest with me to do my training. So for me, that's been such a great,
it's a scary investment, isn't it? Because you're like, I'm investing in someone that I know isn't going to make me dollar value.
That's right.
But they are in a different way.
Yeah,
it's just you can't trust like, okay, you made 5K in services this week, you made 10K in services this week. You can't see that, but it's like, okay, what was I able to do and how was I supposed to expand or even take a step back when I delegated those tasks for you? Because I also had someone like that.
And I love doing clients. Like, don't get me wrong, I love doing clients. But when I'm doing clients, I'm like, firstly, it's sort of doesn't really add up in terms of like a financial point of view,
Yeah.
because I'm also missing a lot of things like that I could
Yeah.
be working on the business
Yeah.
for.
At what point did you think, fuck it, I'm worth it, and I'm going to start charging premium pricing?
Mm.
Because I know this is
always
something that comes up for a lot of people. They really think, oh, I don't want to charge extra and then lose my.
Yeah, true. I think I've always like any service I've added on, I've always done like an introductory pricing. So like I've bought it on and then I've like had a little bit of a discounted rate, but I've always kind of had my pricing like set at, you know, like
More high end.
yeah, like it was always going to be a premium price. And then now I'll just chuck I put my prices up yesterday.
Yeah.
I literally did, because I was like, you know what, like if I get to the point where I'm fully booked like a certain amount of weeks in advance, I'm like, well, you know, if I'm going to be in the salon anyway and I'm going to be doing clients, and like I have also staff in my salon as well that other people
Well,
can go
you
to.
want the staff booked out before you, where
Exactly
you are
right.
in your, you know,
Yeah.
your journey.
That's exactly right. So then I will just sort of, yeah, once it looks like I'm like, okay, this is a feasible point. But also pricing is, you know, if you charge too cheap,
I would
it's a
never go to
terrible
someone. I would
reflection.
never go
Yeah.
to someone too cheap, because I
Exactly.
would think there was something wrong. But I always say to everyone, because we're a high end salon, I always say to like my staff, like, let's not create shame on people that can't afford to come here.
Oh, absolutely.
It doesn't mean that they don't value us in a sense, like us as a person, but we've just got to because I see a lot of people being like, oh, you know, they just. I can't remember what the words are, but it's almost like an attack on the client. Like
Yeah.
sometimes people just can't afford that, right?
And there's people for everyone. There's
There
artists
is
that
people
are,
for everybody.
you know, more reasonably priced that, you know, you can go to, and like they just might be the artist maybe that isn't, you know, upskilling every year.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like if that's, you know, if that's
all you
budget
can
and that's what you
afford, and that's like, let's not shame them for going there, because there's room for everybody.
Yeah.
There's room for premium and there's room for affordable, and that's what keeps us all going.
But I believe our pricing is a reflection of what we do. Like
What you've worked for.
We educate ourselves as artists. You know, even like I'm like have sent 2 of my girls off for training. They already do brows. One of them has 9 years of experience. She's doing another course. Like the other girl in my Melbourne salon, she's up to like her 7th course. Like we do things all the time and consistently upkeep our education so that we can have the ability to charge a premium price, because we're giving the client genuinely a fantastic service every time.
Plus the client experience, plus the knowledge, plus the aftercare, all of the things. It all, you know, plus premium products.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
We're only using the best, so
it all adds together.
Yeah.
Team is usually where businesses either stabilize or start to struggle. What has been your experience building a team that actually protects your standards rather than just relying on you?
I hire on personality. And I feel like that's a really controversial take, because a lot of people don't like that and they only hire on skill. But most of my girls have come into my business as complete beginners, and I've trained them up myself, because I hire driven people. I hire people that reflect my company and like the values that I have. And I hire people that are going to make the customers feel good.
Yeah.
That's what I love. And then I train them up to a standard that is, you know, like great for our studio, and then they start taking clients. And for me, that has been so good. I do not turn over staff quickly at all. I literally have my first girl leaving, like she's leaving at the end of the month, which is so sad. She's going to go out on her own, but she's been with me for like, you know, 3 years. And that for me is saying like I think they live a fantastic life as well, and I like to give my staff like as much as I possibly can so that they can live a great life, and it's not just me being boss and then staff being, you know, at the bottom.
I feel like you have to be like that in this industry now.
If you want long-term staff anyway, for sure. But yeah, I think if you're someone who hires staff just based on like, oh, you know, their work's good, but like, you know, their personality, like we don't really align like personality wise and stuff like that, like you will definitely struggle. Like for me, I've like, if you meet any of my staff, they're beautiful, they're bubbly, they're kind, like it's a very consistent group of people.
They align with everything that you want for in your business.
What did that teach me about leadership? Was that the question? No. Did I answer that properly?
You did. I talk a lot about how control is often the biggest limitation in scaling. Where did you find it the hardest to let go?
For me, I think the delegation, just like letting someone into the back end.
But you're still navigating that.
But I'm getting so much better. I feel like now, like after you have your first one, like now I'm like, oh, delegate this, delegate that. I'm like queen of delegation now. But no, for me, I was like, I always wanted to be like across the board with everything and like making sure that, you know, I'm on top of, but you can't wear that many hats, you know what I mean? And it's like, I still do clients as well to upkeep my my own skills also. Then I'm doing training, and then it's like the back end stuff. So for me, I think like a big like limitation that I had was that. But now I'm definitely learning to delegate a little bit better, and just did I answer?
How many days are you on the salon floor?
I'm on the salon floor now probably about 3 days a week.
Yeah, cool. So
Yeah.
quite a lot still.
Yeah, between 2 and 3. It depends. Like if I have training, obviously I'll swap out like a day or two.
Yep.
But yeah, probably still about 3 days. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. From your perspective, what do you think actually builds longevity in businesses like Boss Brows?
I think a massive thing in terms of longevity for like a clientele perspective is
Yes.
the connection with the client.
Yep.
Massive thing. So we do little things inside the salon, like for example, client notes. Really big on client notes. All the girls after they do a service, they have to write full blown client notes. And if you look into some of my client notes, like they're pretty in depth. I'm talking like not just colors that were used, and it's like what did we talk about? What's their partner's name? Like it's a bit weird that
Yeah, we
like
used to do
withhold
this
that
early
information,
days.
but like
Yeah.
it's more just it helps us reconnect with the client when they come in and make them feel seen, so that when they walk through the door, we can be like, oh, how was your birthday that you had?
Yeah.
How did your brows hold up for your birthday? Like, oh, you know your best friend was getting married. Like, did you go? Like, and it's just like they sit in the chair and they're like, wow, like this person cares. Like they feel this because we have so many clients coming.
Of course, especially you guys.
Remember. Yeah, you can't possibly remember from a 30-minute appointment, their whole life story that they told you 6 weeks ago. Like, so we do little things like that where it keeps the clients feeling seen. It keeps the results really consistent as well when you're writing down all the products that you've used on the day too, so that they can get
anything you've recommended,
Yeah.
how often they should come back, what's happening in their life, products you used. Yeah, I love that.
Yes, that's always one thing that we've been big on.
And I feel like in brows, and I may be wrong, but that isn't written down like hairdressing formulas as much. So I love that you're writing that formula down as well in there. So when they come back, you just literally know what worked last time.
Yeah.
Did you like what worked last time? Do you want anything changed? No, happy with the color. Cool. I've actually got it written down rather than just guesswork. So yeah.
But we genuinely love clients. Like seriously, there's not one girl in my salons that's like every single person like loves what they do.
Yeah.
And like loves, the client connection and loves doing, because after you've been doing it for so long, with hairdressing, it's kind of the service, you're on autopilot. Yeah. You sort of just do it like, as you do. And then it's really just about like the conversation you have with the people and everything. I mean, we always have people that, come in and want to just chill out for a little bit more. And in that case, we just try and make the experience as best as possible for them. Yeah.
Hold space.
Yeah.
Beyond the revenue, beyond the bookings, and beyond the visibility, what does success generally mean to you when you are at this stage in your life and business now?
For me, success we're at a stage where I am focusing on education, as I said to you before. And success for me is other people's success right now. That is like what I'm focusing on. So at the moment, I'm redoing all of my training courses. I'm redoing all of my support. And I want to just make sure that every single person that trains with me is going to become a great artist. And we're redoing a big thing within the training space. It's called The Vault. It's actually coming. I don't know when this podcast is actually going to air. So hopefully it is before then. But
like 5-6 weeks.
Oh, cool. It'll be there.
What are you doing?
It's so it's called The Vault, and it's basically like a big community full of my students. And essentially the whole idea behind that is I want to create this platform where it helps people skip out the entire beginner phase of their business. So, when people start, especially in the brow industry, they start with beginner, they might call their business something really small-minded, like brows, lovely brows by Gena. It's like, and the branding is like really, just basic and stuff. So this whole entire platform is essentially based around...
So it's a bit of business coaching, really.
Kind of, yeah. But like for beginner artists, and
Yeah.
I just want every single person that comes into my realm to be able to take my training and go off and start building an incredible business and their own empire. Like I want to see students not only just take clients and be fully booked, I want to see them like later train their own students or whatever success looks like for them, open their own salon and just genuinely thrive. Like that is the forefront of like what we are doing in the next 6 to 12 months right now. So for me, when I think about like what is gonna make me personally feel successful beyond the revenue, that's what makes me feel successful is when my students
there's
are
actual proof
thriving.
that your students are successful.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And finally, for the listeners who currently, what does we say? Okay, so finally, for the listeners who are currently no, I can't speak it properly. Okay, for the listeners out there who are currently at the stage where you once were, can you please give them some bit of advice?
Lock in. Just lock in. Lock in for 6 to 12 months. Genuinely lock in for 6 to 12 months. Get your goal that you want to do and just lock in, whether it means getting help, seeking help, getting a business coach, spending time on your business. Like, I think locking in is so underestimated, and it sounds so cliche to be like, oh, lock in. But I'm like, if you actually genuinely just dedicate a really short, intense amount of time to your business
every day,
like, you will see the growth though.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you have like ebbs and, like, I've had ebbs and flows where I'm like, and then now I've like felt this and that, and I can step back for a little bit.
Yeah.
You feel like you can just relax for a couple of weeks, go take a holiday, you're all right.
Yeah.
But I think just like locking in for a real short amount of time is going to be like incredible to have a really quick burst of growth that you are after.
Great advice. Lock in and keep turning up.
100%.
Love it. Amazing. Thank you. So for everybody listening at home, can you please tell them where they can find you?
They can find me on Instagram at bossbrowsau, on TikTok at bossbrowsau.
Amazing.
And yeah.
And if you're not in the beauty industry and want a service, she is currently in Melbourne and Gold Coast.
Melbourne and Gold Coast.
Yeah. Cool. Incredible.
Or training. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you
to
so
me on
much.
the couch. Finally get to meet you. So yeah, thank you for all the listeners at home. And yeah, amazing.
Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Kasey. I'm so grateful for having me.
So good. I'll give you a big cuddle. That was
Oh,
awesome.
thank you, darling.
So good.
I appreciate it.
Thank
You're
you.
so cute.
Oh, that was great.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very, very, very powerful.